Do you have a Twitter account?
Thank you, Senator, for your question, but I'm here today to talk about my expertise on reproductive health care for incarcerated women.
Senator John Kennedy has a way of cutting through the noise and getting straight to the point. During a Judiciary Committee hearing on prison reform, Kennedy pressed Dr. Carolyn Sufrin on her credentials and views. The real story? Solitary confinement, prison conditions, and politics. Hit that subscribe button to stay updated.
You're a professor?
I'm a professor at Johns Hopkins University.
And the medical school, or?
In the School of Medicine and at the School of Public Health.
Okay. You're a chaired professor, or?
I am not.
Okay.
Now let's get into it. Prison reform is not an easy conversation. Some argue solitary confinement is cruel and overused. Law enforcement says it's necessary for safety. Senator Kennedy insists law enforcement must be involved. He questioned Dr. Sufrin, an expert, after personal testimonies. So who exactly is Dr. Carolyn Sufrin? Well, she's a board-certified OB-GYN and a professor at Johns Hopkins. But Kennedy made an important distinction. She was not speaking on behalf of Johns Hopkins.
Were you speaking for Johns Hopkins when you sent this out?
I was not speaking for Johns Hopkins.
And here's why that matters. When experts testify in hearings like this, they're often presented as neutral voices. But Kennedy suspected bias, and he had the receipts to prove it. Now, this is where things took a turn. Kennedy confronted Sufrin with an old tweet calling Kavanaugh a white supremacist. Yeah, that's the level of political bias we're dealing with. Instead of addressing the tweet, Dr. Sufrin dodged the question. But Kennedy wasn't having it, and Kennedy called it out.
Piper reminding us that gathering to discuss ending incarceration of women and girls is anecdote to white supremacist Kavanaugh shit show. Professor, did I read that correctly?
Thank you for reciting that. I'm really here today to talk about research and improving conditions for incarcerated pregnant women.
This hearing should have been about solutions, fixing prison conditions and addressing solitary confinement, ensuring proper health care for inmates. But political activists, posing as experts, undermine the process.
Well, I'd like to solve this problem, Professor, but we're not going to solve it with that kind of attitude. Thank you, ladies, for being here. I appreciate the courage that it took to come forward today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Kennedy's questioning mattered. We need real reform, not political games. So what's the takeaway? Solitary confinement is a serious issue. Law enforcement must be involved in solutions. Political bias should not replace expertise. Now I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below. Hit like and share this video. Until next time, stay sharp and informed.